We are live! Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Show Must Go On line. Today's guests are Nick and Lauren from the Skivvies. How are you doing today?
Hi, we're good.
So happy to have you here. Y'all are just so much fun in the Broadway community, and every time I see your videos, it just makes me so happy. Do you know that you give out that positive energy?
Well, we try.
Yeah, I mean, it is truly a goal of ours to bring joy to people through music and through creativity, and to kind of keep people surprised by the different medleys and mashups and arrangements that we do. And we make ourselves laugh. So and we're like our most critical judges, right? So if we can make each other laugh, then we know we'll make audiences
we're doing
laugh.
it. Yeah, we're doing it right.
Exactly. Yeah. I definitely want to talk all about the medleys because they are just like the creativity and the ones that just work so perfectly together. But let's start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. And tell us your origin stories. How did you both get into the theater world? And then how did you get together?
Nick and I met in 2003 doing a children's theater tour together. We got our equity cards with TheaterWorks USA. And we did the show called The Just So Stories. And we drove a van across the country performing in the grandest cafetoriums of the land.
That's right.
We became best friends on that tour. And we started making music together. That was 2003. We started making music together.
We were 9.
Yeah, we were 9. We quickly discovered that we had the same sensibilities of sense of humor and what kind of music we liked. And we started making music together, but with our clothes on. And people came to our shows, but it wasn't as the Skivvies. It was like Nick's show, and I would be a special guest, or vice versa, in the little cabaret clubs downtown, like
the Duplex, of course, the Laurie Beachman. And pianos.
Oh, pianos, yes. And then it wasn't until 2012 we were hanging out in my living room, and we thought we would put a cover song up on YouTube, like all the kids were doing. And Rihanna's "We Found Love" was a really popular tune, which if you've listened to it, it's very highly produced. It's very electronic sounding. And we thought, let's strip it down musically. And
we were sitting on the couch just like this, really.
Yeah.
Looking at a laptop, trying to figure out the chords.
Yeah.
The 4 chords, trying to figure them out.
Yeah. So we made our arrangement. Nick was on a uke and I was on a guitar for that one. And we made our arrangement, and then we were like, okay, let's set up the video camera, and what should I wear for this video? And so I was walking around my bedroom in my bra trying to figure out what top to wear. And Nick said,
why don't you just wear that?
And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. We're stripping down the music. Why don't we also do a whole strip down series for YouTube with our clothes physically? And then from the kitchen, my boyfriend yelled,
why don't you call yourselves the Skivvies? We were like, yes, what else? Tell us what else to do. Keep going.
Yes. So we made a few videos. They started to go viral. And some of the first comments were like, you guys are so talented. You don't need to take your clothes off.
And to that, we say, if we hadn't, you wouldn't have clicked.
We know about the gimmicks, honey. But we did our first live show about 4 months later at Joe's Pub. And maybe it was actually a little bit longer than that.
It was August 5th of 2012 was that show. And then but that video was in January of that year.
Wow. So yeah, our fans were like, when are you going to do a live show? So we just asked a few of our friends who, are Broadway performers, and it was just kind of like a casual throwing it together and see how weird or fun it is to perform in your underwear. And it turns out it's pretty fun and pretty freeing and pretty you think, everyone is like, imagine the audience in their underwear, to ease your nerves. But there's something about performing in your underwear that honestly, the audience immediately is on your side. They're like, wow, if you're that vulnerable on stage, we got you. We're going to, so, you know, and
I think that was the last time I was nervous before a Skivvies show. I was very nervous before that first show because we didn't know. I mean, it was it was such a different format from what we do now. It was just the two of us, and we sat down the whole time and did 13 or so songs. It was a pretty short set, I remember. We sat down, and I wore sunglasses so that you couldn't see my eyes. And it was really, it really has evolved over time. I mean, there wasn't even a percussionist, right?
Yeah.
There was, I think we had a shaker egg.
That's right. We kept it really stripped down.
Like, couldn't be more stripped down.
And, you know, and that's how the Skivvies started. But then it evolved to more instruments and like now dense, lush arrangements. And it's just been so much fun to collaborate with all different musicians and singers and artists. And that's one of the things I feel #blessed for, is that I'm able to, you know, create art with so many people that it's not just like, a lot of times artists are isolated in their own like world. And for me as an artist, I thrive on bouncing ideas off of other people. And this, what we've created is like the epitome of that. There's never just like one idea and that's it. You know, it's always just, it morphs and shifts and
it's a lot of what if.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just sounds like the perfect collaboration between the two of you and then your special guests. And I love seeing, like, it's really nice that you put all of your videos on YouTube, because anyone who wasn't fortunate enough to get to the show gets to also experience that. And then it builds up the hype for the next show. And you're like, oh, I really want to go there in person and see that. So that is amazing. I want to give a quick note that my dog right here is just chewing on his bone and having like the grandest old time. So if you hear a little like, you know, sound, that's just Slimbo, and maybe he'll make a special appearance as my guest star.
Oh, we all got to chew on a bone sometimes. You know what I mean?
Totally. And just a second quick note, I mentioned before the show, but the weather has been a little crazy. So if the video seems a little like grainy or it's spotty or whatever, just like viewers at home, it's what we're doing right now. We're in quarantine. Sometimes the video's not as crisp.
Yeah. If that could be the least of our worries, that'd be great. Or the most of our worries, I should say.
Right. I know. So being in quarantine and collaborating, and especially with this exciting upcoming thing that you've been working on with your Indiegogo, can you talk about that?
Sure. I mean, it's really evolved, as we all have during this time. I was just thinking back into March just yesterday and going through how the roller coaster of each month of how we've all sort of adjusted or not adjusted or shifted our lives to adapt to this time. It's been crazy. Like we didn't see each other for
the first 2.5. Yeah. Yeah. And
so anything we did was remote, like this, or
we were basically you know, creating and videoing ourselves separately and then pasting it and editing it together, and you know, like the rest of the world, trying to figure out how to collaborate when it's impossible to do it on Zoom because of the latency issues with the technology. You can't just make music together, you know, you have to be in the same room or pre-record to have good sound quality. So, you know, these were hurdles that we had to figure out as we went. The first time we actually got together was an outdoor video that we shot of a mashup of Don't Stand So Close to Me and what else was it?
Don't Stand By Me.
Don't Stand By Me, right.
Stand in the Place Where You Live.
Mm-hmm. It was all, yeah. And it was like.
Do you get it?
Wait, let's go back. Let's see it again.
I'm gonna have to take a second on that one.
So yeah, we shot it in masks in Times Square, and it was so eerie back in May to walk through Times Square for the first time and see it just completely isolated. No.
Decimated.
Desolate.
Desolate. That's it.
Thank you. We got there. English. Okay. So, yeah. And just like tumbleweeds, you know, to see everything shut down and to have nobody walking around down there was just shocking. And to know that it's still going to be shut down for another year. I mean, it's horrible. It's devastating. And, you know, we're just trying to make the most of what we can do as artists, you know, safely and, you know, as much as we can do. I don't know.
But now that the world has opened up just a bit and we've had, you know, now we know masks and blah, 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 we did record an album. So we got together for multiple days with our band, recorded the tracks, and then we got together in a studio with our guest singers as well as ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And
did we even mention it's the Rocky Horror Skivvies show? We haven't even said that yet. So Nick and I actually did the Rocky Horror show together, playing Brad and Janet in
Bucks County,
2013. And we loved the show so much and the music that we decided to put our Skivvies spin on the music of the show. So the past 2 years, we've done the music of the show at Joe's Pub. And we had planned this year to take it on tour and bring it all around. And there's a lot of excitement for it. But
2020 had other plans. And we've always said when we were doing this that this is the show we should record. That we got to record these arrangements as an album.
Yeah,
we've always said that
album before.
This is our debut album. So what better time than during a pandemic when you can record remotely with a lot of people safely if we do get together. And it was the perfect timing in a not so perfect timing of world.
Yeah, so it's unbelievable. And for all of these musicians that have great recording setups, we're able to just put all the pieces together, and it's so professional and sounds so amazing.
Every day we get new mixes back. I think there are 17 tracks on the album. I think we've gotten 11 or 12 now. Something like that.
And the special guests include everyone from Alice Ripley, Michael Cerveris, to Nathan Lee Graham, and Brittany Campbell, and Travis Kent, and
Nick Adams.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Will Swenson,
Marissa Rosen,
Allison Frazier,
Diana Huey,
Krista Rodriguez. I mean, it's like 12 guests total that sing with us. We are Brad and Janet throughout, and then everybody else changes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That is so exciting. It is just to even
next Friday.
What?
Yeah, we are aiming for a release. Like we had our deadline to like have everything planned by October 31st at the latest. So we're hoping to get it all released and just it'll be surprise. It's arrived like a Beyonce.
We are going to do a Beyonce drop.
So we're not giving you a definite date, but we'll say it will be out by Halloween. And we're planning a couple other exciting things like a little music video and a listening party, which is in the works. So we're just trying to like be creative and, you know, reach our fans and reach our, you know, our community that is hungry for theater and, you know, hungry for music. And, you know, we all are hungry and starving.
Hungry for music and just in general.
Yeah, what's for dinner?
That is, you know, it's funny because when I was thinking of what date should I suggest, I thought, well, the 13th is 3-1 backwards, and that has like Friday the 13th feelings as well. So,
yes. And you want to know something that you just said that was a huge thing in my life? My birthday is the 31st. Halloween is my birthday, and my mom and I used to celebrate my backwards birthday, which is today because of the three. We used to just because I was also supposed to be born 3 weeks. Like around this time, and I waited 3 weeks to come out. So my mom always celebrated like when I was supposed to be due, which was my backwards birthday.
Well, happy backwards birthday to you. That is perfect. Yes.
We always did.
It's kind of like the happy very young birthday.
It is.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I'll take another birthday.
The more the merrier. So when you're coming up with all these arrangements and mashups, and you said that it is such a collaborative effort, but do you each kind of like sit down with the different songs and then you think, like, even I was just watching Ariana DeBose and The Bullet, and like you make it very topical?
Yeah, it's all different ways. Honestly, there's not one specific way that we are, consistent with. So for her, for example, we had done a titanium and bulletproof as a mashup. And we thought, because she was the bullet, how can we expand this idea to include more songs with like the idea of a bullet? And so, yeah, we just basically like Google search songs and what else? Like
it truly does change per person. It depends if we're creating something for ourselves too. Our brains work in a different way, a little like very quick.
Yeah.
And if it's for tailored around somebody like Ariana's, very specific to what she did, or if it's an idea. I always think about the nursery rhyme or the fairy tales that we do, the storytelling songs with Christopher Hankey. That is always some sort of like twist on a fairy tale.
Yeah, more of like a theatrical kind of journey storytelling, where it's not just about like thematics, but there's a sketch involved.
Yeah, there's a beginning, middle, and end, and a change, an art.
Theater.
Definitely.
Yeah, but to answer your question, no, there is no like exact formula.
It's either by like the word or like how, and if something's happening in the world that we want to spoof or satire, we take that opportunity. We have gotten political, we've gotten into pop culture, all that kinds of stuff, and making it more sketchy, like I said before. But it's, and I just like was thinking of like the very first thing that we did together in quarantine. We did a mashup of, or it wasn't a mashup, but we did a parody of I Can Go the Distance with I Can Social Distance. And then it seemed like a few other people did it after us, but like that sort of thing.
That was a good one. Yeah, I appreciate the topical comedy and the clever writing. Because I feel like sometimes you can have the idea there, but the execution doesn't always like follow through. But with you, every time, swing and knock it out of the park.
Leave us a good Yelp review. Just kidding.
What do you, Broadway score. No.
Right.
Or is that what it's called? I don't know.
With all the whenever you have the performances, sometimes there's like that big reveal with the outfit, and sometimes people have very different clothing. Like I was just watching Lin-Manuel Miranda's with like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle hat and pants, but then like Laura Benanti and with was it a pizza outfit? And so do you also talking about like the theatrics of it all, and that it is more than just, it's like really a full performance? Is that something that they also surprise you with, or do you collaborate on the outfits?
It depends on the person. Usually, like with somebody like Laura, she comes in with big ideas typically. So, and they're always very 100% committed and deliberate. Other people, we would just be like, yeah, cool. Because for us, it's really, it's more, Skivvies is a state of mind. We don't really require anyone to wear their underwear. It's just whatever you feel most comfortable in. It's like, we like to think of it as a big pajama party. This just happens to be our pajamas, and we cover the underwear part. If you want to play, that's cool, but you can also wear a costume or a ball gown. I mean, it's really run the gamut.
Nice.
Yeah, it's true. And I love people that play the game though, that just take it to the next level. And we also have a friend of ours who is a costume designer, where if we have something really specific, he helps us create. Like, for example, with the Rocky Horror Skivvies show live, there's a number called Over at the Frankenstein Place. And and it started where Travis Kent came out in like a sort of suit costume.
Yep.
And he stripped off layers, and then the chorus is "There's a light over at the Frankenstein place," and on the big high note, he literally is down to like a jock strap with lights on his junk, like glowing,
they lit up.
glowing green, and they lit up on the big high note. It was wild. So, sometimes we're lucky enough to have, a specific design.
I think he's snoring.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My cat snores.
I was like, is there a bee in here?
No.
We welcome all animals to just be their full selves today. And always.
Apparently we're boring.
Right. Do we have the human's attention? Well, we know about the pets. No. Yeah, he's just passed out right here. He's so cute. But speaking of animals, like at least for me, Slim has really helped with like the mental health of being in quarantine and COVID, and with theater being closed in person and having someone, or having a pet that you need to feed them and take them out. And I mean, a cat's a little different with that, but do you feel like having a cat has really helped you with that?
Well, I will say a couple things. So this actually has been a very stressful few months for us, because at the start of quarantine, we had a foster kitten. I have been fostering for the last 5 years with my partner. And
how many have you owned?
75 cats, kittens.
What?
Not at the same time.
No.
Yeah, but that's amazing.
Yeah. So we got a kitten that unfortunately had ringworm. Not sure if you know about what ringworm is, but it's the worst. It's actually the worst. And so the kitten brought it into our house at the end of January, and it takes a really long time to get rid of. And not only did the kitten pass it to our cats, but me and my partner. And so imagine being in a situation where the only way that you can get rid of ringworm is by bleaching and wiping off surfaces, floors, vacuuming every day, doing laundry every day, washing your sheets every day, washing your clothes every day, at least 5 loads of laundry a day, and then giving topical and medical care, like oral care to your cats to try to kill the ringworm. And
all during this pandemic.
So at the start of this pandemic, until it finally went away in July, to imagine that stress on top of, and being in your home and not being able to leave, and living in that stressful situation of, unrest, of trying to deal with that. So that was actually the worst for me. And I've never been under so much stress in trying to deal with my cat's health and discomfort. Meanwhile, just all of it coming down, friends getting sick, friends dying, friends, are, concerned about family, getting exposed to it, concerned, the pandemic. So, so to answer your question, no, it was not easier having my cats around. It was a lot more stressful, and I wanted to murder someone and my cats. But now that we're all good, everyone is healthy, and now I love my babies. I have 2 cats. You have a dog.
I have a dog, and she's got a lot of personality, and I feel like she's very spoiled at this point with all the attention that she gets. So now when I do leave the house for an extended amount of time, she's like, what the heck? Why am I not? Where are you going?
Right. Exactly.
I'm sorry to have brought up such a.
It was horrible. I mean, it was I honestly, my partner and I, it was the most tension we've ever experienced, because you think that it's just going to wrap itself up. You think it's going to be the end, and then it's not, for months and months and months. And the exhaustion and the mental exhaustion and, the discomfort. It's itchy and horrible, and huge patches of skin on my cats or fur peeling off. It's like a zombie. It's disgusting.
No. Yeah.
Anyway,
Slimbo has been
isolate them. You got to isolate when you foster. Keep them in a bathroom just in case. But please adopt. Don't shop.
all that being said, yes. I couldn't imagine going through that. So my feelings to you. I will say Slimbo has been sick the last 2 weeks, and I do understand what you're saying about like you want them to be okay, but you also want to be able to sleep through the night without them having to go out 5 times. And you're like,
Right.
how do I be there for you and also not wake up as a zombie the next day? And pets, you love them, and sometimes they drive you crazy, but they're worth it.
It's like children as well.
Yes. Children and pets. So what else have you been doing then during quarantine to bring bright spots to your day, to counter the stress?
No, I mean, I've been making music with my partner Rob. We've been working on an album as well for a band that we were in together that sort of kind of dissipated called the Booklights, and we've recorded an EP that's in the works. I've been recently I've been taking hikes up near your place actually. One of my girlfriends, we just drive up an hour, 2 hours, and take really long hikes and get out into nature. I actually wasn't getting out into nature at all this summer. The first time I really went outside was during the protests, and I was out there like almost every day for a while. Because I'm up in Harlem, and it's I step outside and I'm part of a protest, and I'm happy to be there to shout that Black Lives Matter. And I found a lot of release in being a part of that movement, as far as, being in your apartment and getting so emotional and saying, what can I do besides like donating and posting on social media? So that has brought me, I don't know if joy is the right word, but it's made me feel that I'm actually like contributing and participating in something bigger than myself. And that brings me some kind of like satisfaction and positivity. But also something that Nick and I have both done is our friend Vasti Mompoint has created children's programming with Broadway performers called Vasti's Friends. And it's a show that it started with Broadway babysitters, but now Vasti has taken Vasti's Friends, and it's about to be on Broadway on Demand. And so we're creating children's content, and I have a show with my partner Rob, who has a puppet, and it's just so joyful. And
I play Farmer Nick. I drop in from the country.
Yeah, he's like the special. I don't know if you've seen like Mr. Rogers, like, or
they're like
Herman.
Yeah, I go on my deck with all my, I don't know what we're gonna do in the fall, but the winter. But I have a lot of I had like a vegetable garden and like herb garden. So I was like, this is basil.
But it's so cute, like, because with our Skivvies expertise, Nick will sing a song, as Farmer Nick.
But if you like the song I Want to Dance with Somebody, you're going to love I Want to Plant with Somebody.
Exactly. And it's like, everybody plant now. Yeah.
Silly.
It's great. So that also has brought us a lot of joy and like connecting to the kids. We recently did a voting episode, and it was Noodle, the cute orange puppet, versus the hate monster. You know what? Hold on a second. I'm gonna grab real quick. It's right here.
We love a prop.
Yeah, almost died. Okay. Yep. Here's Noodle and the hate monster. So this is the hate monster, and earlier in quarantine, he was created to show some of like basically racism, but for kids. And this is Noodle.
Oh, Noodle.
We're not supposed to show puppets when they're not animated, but he's really cute.
Oh.
But in our voting episode, the hate monster had a debate with Noodle, and then we like talked about voting, and it's like an interesting concept for kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're
like,
so many years away from it.
They're so many years away from it, but also like the fact that like what do you vote for? Like what does Fordham, easy. Here, buddy.
I think he wants that plastic bag.
He does. Our cat, he loves plastic. He loves chewing on plastic.
Great.
He's ready to pounce.
But joy in like children's content, like knowing that we're connecting with kids at this challenging time through music and storytelling is really awesome.
Mm.
Here he comes.
Come here, buddy.
Hi.
He's a black cat,
Kitty.
so he's hard to see.
Oh, what a cutie. Look at that.
He says, is it my turn to answer questions?
No, little cat, tell me.
Like,
Are you ready for Halloween?
Chicken. What?
I was going to ask him if he's ready for Halloween, being a nice black cat.
Yeah.
It is his season. Yes. Yeah, he knows.
He also wants to just talk about the movie Cats, if you have time.
It is a horror movie.
Yeah, just the season.
Does he feel seen or does he feel very misrepresented?
Probably misrepresented.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, Fordham. It's so hard to see you right now.
He's just blending right in, except for those amazing eyes.
Oh, yes.
Well, he was the poster for the Broadway musical. Just kidding.
But actually, one fun story, Nick and I did a cat's benefit show for an animal rescue that I work with. And it was the music of cats, but in the same way that we did with Rocky Horror, we put our Skivvies twist on it, where we did all the best songs of cats and made them mashups and medleys. And
we were sent a cease and desist. Because they thought we were doing cats. We were like an actor-musician concept.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, an actor-musician cats. That's what they thought it was. And we were like, no, not even close.
When they called, when the person called, we thought they wanted to talk about our Charlie Brown. So she took the call. I was with her, and she goes, hello? Yeah. What are you? And he was like talking about Charlie Brown, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, I'm actually calling about cats. We're like, huh? And then we had to explain that we weren't actually doing cats.
Yeah, it was my own fault because I used the actual cat's font. Can't use the cat's font, apparently. They're very strict about that. It said the Skivvies cats, but and then in the green eyes of the cat, it was underwear, like as the
pupil.
Clever.
So, but you know, we all.
Andrew Lloyd Webber was pissed, but we still did it.
He has a team. He has a team. He wants to get all of the dollars that he's owed.
Also, like, who tries to cease and desist a fundraiser? It was completely for charity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You would think that would be like, the exception because it's for charity.
But also explaining like what we did to the we're taking like McCavity and we put it with Billie Eilish's Bad Guy.
This just sounds phenomenal now.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Actually, it's the only version of Cats I want to see.
Yeah.
The Skivvies version.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I never went to see the movie because I heard so many things and I thought you get to choose what you see and there's so much out there. So who knows, maybe one day, because we're in quarantine forever, that it could happen.
Yeah, now.
It's also not to be viewed sober. So whatever your vices are, in excess.
Okay. Cool. Just like pour yourself a glass, but then also have the jar ready.
Right, the heaviest pour.
Yeah. One glass won't do.
Note taken. Thank you.
I actually couldn't believe it when I saw it in the theaters.
You wanted to talk about it so bad. When you saw it, you're like, you have to let me know after you see it because I just want to talk about it. It's so crazy.
Also, I mean, there's so many things to discuss, but I saw it in Harlem at a theater where there were about 6 other musical theater people. You could tell in a cluster, but then there was a family sitting next to me who really wanted to watch it in earnest. But those musical theater people in the back, they were laughing hysterically and they were getting shushed. And meanwhile, I'm like laughing as well and thinking to myself, you are taking this so seriously, and it cannot be. This is going to be a new cult classic of like the worst movie ever.
Oh yeah. I've heard so many stories like that. Like people intentionally had some fun ahead of time, got really ready for the cat's mindset, and then saw it and just watched it to be in the experience. And you would think maybe they would do the Rocky Horror with like having something ready to throw and you get up and dance and whatnot.
Exactly.
Let's throw kitty litter.
Ugh. Catnip.
Catnip.
Right. I'm like, what do we do?
Yeah, just cat toys.
Yeah, exactly.
That
I have a bowl right here.
Yeah, we're ready for this.
Ooh.
Let's watch it. Let's watch it right now.
Let's go. Yeah, that would be so much fun. And I do have to say, speaking of also Rocky Horror, and it all ties together, when I first saw that you were doing this this album, I then just started listening to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I was like, man, I miss this show. We used to go in person in college like every year, and now I really miss that. And so now I'm excited to like watch it again for Halloween and now listen to your album and whatever you put out with it. And it just like that probably out of everything got me back into the like Halloween fun spirit that I was really missing.
Yeah.
I'm always ready to watch that before the season hits. I'm like, August, I'm watching Rocky Horror, and I'll watch it like. It's fun. I enjoy it very much.
It's so fun, and it's so weird. I love how like wacky and like the plot of Rocky Horror is like on drugs.
Wait, I was just watching, so I get really into like the behind the scenes and the footage back in the time they filmed this and how they shot it and why they did it and why Richard O'Brien even wrote it in the first place. And I learned so much just this year about like the behind the scenes stuff. Where that, I guess that's what I'm saying. He only had half of it written. When a theater asked him to do it, he had only written half of it. I don't know which half. I assume I can tell where he sped up the process maybe, but he said by the time they went into rehearsals, he had not finished the script, which I find very interesting because I want to know where he was. I feel like the movie after Rocky is created, I feel like as soon as they get to the floor show and the stuff right before that, like the Planet Schmanet stuff to the end, I'm just like, is that where he had to wrap it up? Or, you know what I mean? And I've learned so much, and he never said in the interviews where specifically he was in the writing. And then also that like Susan Sarandon had pneumonia for the whole filming.
What?
Because they were really outside and cold and she caught pneumonia.
Poor girl.
She described, in talking, like listening to her talk about the role of Janet, and how she described her as the bitchiest ingenue that ever was. And I was like, that's so interesting. A bitchy ingenue.
Yeah, but I guess my interpretation was different. I don't see her as bitchy. I see her as naive, and she grows into she becomes aware of sexuality. It's really all about like sexual liberation.
Yeah.
And it's a little, it's a little, comes on a little strong. Like, I think certain things about it are, not as PC now, which is totally cool to talk about. But I think that, being sex positive wasn't an okay thing to talk about, and especially for women, and so that freedom of being okay with like wanting to have sex and wanting to get dirty and to be touched, it was always like, as a woman, you're pinned up, but
right.
That and as of late, now we have the Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's WAP, and so that's taking it to the next level,
right?
For women's.
Who's at the door?
So this is Limbo. Slim, you want to say hi? Hi, bud. His sister Shady, yes, Slim Shady, is barking, and anytime she starts to bark, he's like, "Hold on, let me go do that."
Yeah.
So, Slim, you want to go out? All right. I wore my MeUndies as a funny thing, and I wasn't expecting to stand up, so just.
Yay!
MeUndies are great. They're so comfortable.
MeUndies, yeah, we had a sponsorship from them a few years back, and then they had like a new marketing manager, and then they dropped us.
Yeah, somebody got fired.
But we got some nice free MeUndies. Highly recommend.
Yeah, it's so funny because when I was looking at them earlier, I was like, I wonder if they would be sponsored by them. It's a perfect fit.
Yeah.
We've actually, like, as far as sponsorships go, Nick has had more success with that because it's easier for.
We're cheap. Briefs are really cheap for people just to be like.
Yeah, here, try these on for size. And for women, obviously, bras are more expensive and harder to. Or yeah, I guess they're not harder to come by, but they're just more expensive, and people are stingier about that. So.
Is it just another thing in the female male?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But yeah, we've actually gotten pretty lucky with that kind of stuff. It's just so wild how the Skivvies took off, and we took off our clothes, but then it took off, and we were just like, how did this happen? How did we get so lucky to, be, have like the generosity of support from fans and from collaborators and from venues, and I think it's just like a testament to like the relationships that we've built over the years before we started the Skivvies, and the fact that we obviously have some talent to back up our naked skin.
I also think sometimes I realized this over the 8 years that we've been doing this, is that we often are brought to venues as like
edgy.
Yeah, to kind of shake up the norm, because we play a lot of venues that are like Cheetah Rivera and Patti LuPone and the Skivvies, and it's like I feel like we check a box for a lot of venues that to spice up their audience.
Yeah.
A lot of people who go to our shows they scale a little younger, or just the demographics a little more eclectic than the people who have the money to spend on Patti LuPone. So I think that we check a few boxes for some people in that way.
But I will say, to piggyback off that, we have had some venues who are more conservative in the Midwest who have said, okay, so like, please don't swear, and please don't go into politics. We're not quite sure how our audience is going to respond or react. And
that's for, I think, purposes of like, they have board members there who give them a lot of money. So we're like, fine, we don't want you to lose money, so we will not say fuck Trump.
But in all other cases, please say
cases, right?
Right. You can feel it in your heart. But actually, it's funny that those audiences are the most appreciative and the most hungry for our creativity and content. And often they're like, this is the most fun we've ever had at a show. We've never seen anything like this. Thank you so much for traveling all this way. And one woman actually in Key West, is more liberal, but old, this like 87-year-old woman. She's like, I lived in New York for, 90 years and whatever. And she's like, I've seen everything, and I've never seen anything more creative than this. And we were like, wow, thank you. And she like started like listing off all these things. And it just goes to show that like, even though she knew probably a handful of the songs that we referenced, it doesn't matter if you don't know the song. It's the creativity and the way that it's sung.
The execution, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. That provides joy.
That's such a lovely story. I love that. It's so true though, like especially because in New York, you can find a rascal show or something a little risque. But when you go to the Midwest, and I was a reporter in Texas for 2 years in West Texas. So I feel you on certain like norms that I was not accustomed to. But when it does happen, there was this thing called Summer Mummers. Have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
It's in Midland, Texas. Like you wouldn't know about it unless if you were there, but they had a New York Times write-up. And it's kind of Rocky Horror-esque in that like you can volunteer and like help give out the popcorn, and like we as volunteers would like throw popcorn at people as there's like a live stage show. And it was so much fun. And you would never think that like this random town in West Texas would have this like very popular, sold out every year summer show.
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show that like the people who are the most suppressed in society are craving to break that, you know,
Kind of like Rocky Horror. It's kind of like the Brad and Janet.
Yeah.
Damn it, Janet.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, we only have a few more minutes, but I just want to make sure everyone has registered to vote and will be voting either early, absentee, or in person. Make your plan to vote. We are very passionate about that. We are going through a existential crisis right now in this country. And so we would love to, and also, we support Biden, and we're not ashamed to say that. I know a lot of people are like, just vote, but we got to vote blue this time.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to vote blue this time.
Cosign. There are so many things that you can do to support. And yeah, in this particular case, even as a journalist, it is not, there aren't two sides in terms of human rights. And so if you don't vote blue this year, then you're telling all of your Black friends, your gay friends, your Jewish friends, your Indigenous friends, your people of color friends that you don't care about them, people with disabilities. So this is a very particular year where you have to vote blue, or else like I take that offensively, and I'm not afraid to say that, like you were just saying.
Yeah. Women, if you have women as friends.
Women, trans, non-binary, they're so
immigrants.
Immigrant.
There's a lot. So yes, thank you for saying that, and yeah, we feel very strongly about that too.
Thank you for saying that. And do you have any nonprofits or charities that you'd like to shout out today?
Oh, well, gosh, there's so many. Wow, I feel like, we could shout out to your husbands.
The LGBT Bar of New York is doing great work.
Yeah.
And a lot of organizations are suffering right now because they have to do all of their fundraising as a nonprofit virtually, and everyone's learning what that is, how to do it. So I know that a lot of any nonprofit that is fighting a good fight for civil rights right now is in need.
I'm always in support of the ACLU and the Southern Poverty Law. I also, with Nick, we created a fundraiser for the Audre Lorde Project, which helps people of color who are trans, who have a community system to help them. But yeah, gosh, there's so many.
Biden.
Yeah, at this point, honestly,
He texts and emails me every day.
Sometimes even Barbara
Streisand's got a hold of his contact list.
I know. It's wild. I tell you, it's wild.
She's like, you gotta vote for my friend.
Yes. Yeah, no, I have so many Biden-Harris emails. I just got one today about a Hamilton reunion that if you donate, you can see it.
I got that too.
Yeah. It's overwhelming, but I mean, it's just so messed up that in this country, they need money from supporters. That's how politics works, and it's a problem, and it needs to be changed. So we need to elect politicians that will enforce that change, where you don't need to pay to play to be in politics.
Imagine that. Yes, yes, yes. Preach, preach. It is crazy how the money could be going in such better places, and yet we need to invest in this right now so that the future will have a better non-electoral college system.
Oh my gosh, yes. And I would just like to also remind our viewers to continue to wear their masks and play it safe so that we can reopen again in the theater. I don't know when that's going to be. We had a opportunity to co-conceive a new Charlie Brown at the Cincinnati Playhouse, which was an incredible experience. And we were all set to open it off Broadway this past summer.
July.
And then we were like, maybe we'll do it in the fall. And here we are, it's the fall. And nothing can happen until next year at least. And it's not just actors. It's not just performers. There's so many people's livelihoods that are affected by these closures due to COVID. And it's devastating. It's truly devastating. And I mean, there's no end in sight. They can give us a date, but it's...
Historically speaking, I mean, this is officially the year without Broadway because it will have been over a year by the time whenever it comes back. Isn't that crazy to think about?
That is
the
wild.
year without Broadway, or more than a year without Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
Not New York theater.
Right. That is, it's like, it, and you know that that's what's going to happen. And even every time they like push back the date, you knew that that was probably going to happen. But then when it's official, there's that extra twinge. And because like you're saying, we say Broadway, but that's also off-Broadway regional theater, and then everyone, costume designer, director, floor director, like all the different artists, the band, the pit, everyone, the orchestrator. There's so many different aspects of being in theater, and the cabarets and 54 Below, right? Like there's just
the marketing teams, like the non-performers that make it all happen, the producers, the managers, the agents, it's...
Well, didn't they say Broadway was responsible for something in the trillions for the New York economy last year?
Oh, I thought it was just billions, but
billions or trillions, but still,
I think it's high billions.
I mean, either way, that's a pretty chunk of change.
Yeah.
Wow. But that is, so we just have to support our local artists and everyone. And a great way that they can support you is through the Indiegogo.
Yeah,
sweet.
Well, that's another reason. Like originally we were just going to self-produce and dig into our pockets. And, we were like, why not just open it up? And it's Indiegogo, but because we're the Skivvies, we're creatively calling it Indiegogo, or cleverly. But we thought like all of this money is going to the artists, to pay the musicians, to pay the singers, to pay the
mixer, the master,
the engineers. Yes. So like why don't we just say like your money is going directly to the artists? So if you can help out, please do. And it's been great. So yes, it's easy to find. If you go to Indiegogo and type in the Skivvies, you can find us. And it's great. There's some fun perks. Ooh, in fact, hold on.
We got them in the mail today.
We got one in the mail today.
So exciting. Yay.
One of them is this Rocky Horror mask. It says it's a kazoo, and there you go. Can you see the kazoo?
Yes.
And then it says the Skivvies on this side.
Yes. Ooh, I can't wait to get mine.
Yes.
Oh yes, we tallied it up today. We saw your thank you for your contribution.
It's awesome. We're really excited. So yeah, those are some of the perks: t-shirts and downloads and masks. So anyway,
It was perfect. And honestly, it was kind of cool for me to be able to contribute and feel like, you're a part of this bigger thing and to donate to artists and then also have like, your name as part of this historical thing for me is just like a cool, nerdy, like, oh, I get to be a part of this by helping you create it. And that's exciting.
Yes. A thank you credit on the album itself. Yes. 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 So cool.
And the mask is a perfect thing because, like you said, we need to be wearing our masks anyway. That is something that, like, you might as well make a fashion statement out of it as you get it when you donate.
Precisely.
I mean, there's no other show merch really happening right now, so.
It's true. May as well.
Very true. So with the last few minutes, is there anything else you'd want to promote or say directly to your fans?
I want to say that I think a lot of us are like go through the roller coaster, the Corona coaster, if you will, of like, when are we going to be back? But I think it's okay. We will be back. I think New York theater will be back. And I think it's just really important to remember that. We just have to get through this moment. And we knew that this was coming. So I think we just all have to know that we're in it together. And as opposed to some leaders, Trump, trying to divide everyone at this time, we all need to just unite, vote for Biden, and get there.
Yeah, definitely. I second that. And
Wait,
don't
last
be
time
afraid.
I was like, vote.
Oh,
We
yeah.
did a concert the other day that was virtual for Birdland, and I was like, she did, the
I was like, vote for empathy, vote for science.
vote for Biden, and I said, vote with your heart, and she goes, no, vote for Biden.
Yeah. I don't care what your heart tells you.
No, it's wrong.
This is dark. We are at a dark, dark time. But I'm trying not to be all doom and gloom. It's been a very challenging few months for me personally. At the start of the pandemic, a dear friend of mine passed away, and it was just like it sent me into a state of grief that I've never really experienced before.
Mm-hmm.
Even with like family members passing when it was their time, I have felt that sadness. But somebody whose life was cut short at the age of 36, who didn't deserve it, and who didn't I was just unprepared, and then to be so unsure of what was going to happen, and then now in retrospect to have seen it happen, but it's not over yet, and to know that no drastic measures have been done to contain this virus in this country. I mean, New York has most of our shit together. Pockets are popping up again, which is not cool. And people, the truth is we want it to be over, but we can't act like it's over. We all want it to be normal, but this is not normal. This is a unprecedented time in the world. And, it's just, in New York, we are in such a densely populated place where, it hit us so hard at first that we were like, oh, we got to be smart and lock this down. And now things are lifting, but it doesn't mean we can get comfortable. And I think that's an easy thing that people can lose track of.
So well said. And they made this joke on SNL, the unprecedented.
I knew you were going to do that because I was thinking it too.
I didn't see it.
Did you say unprecedented? No, unprecedented. Unprecedented?
It's just so perfect. It's so true.
It's so true. It was so good.
But
it's wild. There are so many things to say, but as the Skivvies, what we can do is use our platform to spread knowledge, awareness, joy, and hope, music. I know that we have some friends who are also, very vocal about politics, and they're like, I don't care if I lose fans based on this, because at this point, it's not about just like disagreeing on pizza toppings. It's just agreeing on the value of other people's livelihoods and lives. So yeah,
Vote Biden Harris.
Yeah, and blue down the ticket.
Right. And also, I mean, just like quick side note,
races are equally as important.
Right. There are so many, no matter where you live, even if you feel like your voice isn't necessarily being heard on the presidential level, there are so many other elections going on right now. So do your research. It'll feel really good. I promise. Like, do a little bit of research. Either send it in the mail, or if you are going in person, I know sometimes those lines are crazy, but just do it. It'll feel like you did that part to help others, and that'll make you feel good. And right now we could use feeling good more than ever.
Yeah, it's your civic duty.
Very true. Where can everyone find y'all on social media?
We are at the Skivvies NYC on all the things. I'm clearly Cearley. She's Lomo212. And we have a website, skivviesnyc.com.
Excellent. And y'all can find me at BWaySHO. That's BWAYSHO, as you see all the way here. The series continues throughout quarantine, and I have recently put out BWaySHO, the podcast. So enjoy. Ooh, it's very exciting. And thank you. I really appreciate both of y'all taking the time out of your day to chat with me. And I know I really enjoyed it. And thank you all for watching. This has been a really nice hour.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
See you at the show.